What's up, people? So yeah, never mind. The guy who offered €9 for it, and eventually, in the end, never ended up purchasing it. And the pack was just there, and I figured to myself, you know what? If no one's gonna buy it, I may as well just mess with it. It's not too much money wasted. Worst case scenario. And at this point, as I mentioned in the previous video, there's really not that much that anyone can do to it to ruin it. In the end, I decided to go for the surface mount buckle mod simply because I figured at this point I have the components. I might as well use them. I might as well experiment. And I have to say, it turned out better than I expected. A lot better than I expected. But, I wanted to include the previous video simply because my fears of melting too big a hole were unfounded. At the end of the day, I just chose a screwdriver, that flathead screwdriver, that the tip matched the little studs on the bottom part of the surface mount buckles, and I heated it up on the stove. Tried to melt it, didn't really melt. Heated it up some more, and it went through real easy, and it didn't melt a bigger hole than I planned, which was really good. So it ended up working out, guys. What can I say? It just ended up working out. And as you can see, I'm already looking at options for the webbing. I've already got the strips in place. At this point, I figured, you know what? Let me just go real crazy with the seam rippers, or what was left of them. I'm working with 3 broken seam rippers and one that is about to break and bend. One is bent out of shape, useless. This one is broken, but still cuts in here, so I was able to, cut the last little bits of stitching with this. This is broken, but it's still slightly, more pointy up here than all the others. And this was the last candidate, and that's in better shape compared to everyone else, but as you can see, it's already pretty bent, and I've bent it even more. I just had to bend it sort of back in place. And what can I say, guys? These seam rippers are driving me crazy. But I figured, you know what, at this point, this was a cheap one. These were all cheap ones. This was a good one. I'm gonna have to invest in at least another good one. But I'm digressing. What can I say, guys? I'm looking at this pack, and the more I look at it, the more I think, you know what? If I don't do this, who else will? And at the end of the day, I do have the components, so what the hell? Let's just do it. It would make for a fun episode anyway, or for a fun series. It'd be pretty bad of me not to go through with this at this point. So yeah, I unstitched the buckles, the buttons, as you can see, mounted the surface mount buckles, and they seem to be holding all right. Now, I am probably never gonna do this on any other pack simply because I have a fear that over time, clipping in, clipping out, it might start ripping. I don't know. We'll have to see, I guess. If I end up keeping this pack, I'll end up finding out myself. But what can I say, guys? At least I made use of those surface mount buckles, and I've got the webbing, so I think it would look pretty funky with camouflage webbing. And okay, so it also had a ripped paracord and I decided at this point, might as well, fix that up too. So I just replaced it, and yeah, it's looking pretty good already. It's looking a lot better, I have to say. This damn hole, I'm just gonna have to patch that up. But other than that, the pack is actually in pretty good condition, guys. So I figured, why not? Let's go through with it. What's the worst that can happen? That I waste 10 euros? Or, I end up selling it for the money that I put in it. So technically, I'll get 0 for the pack. Who knows? We'll see. I might end up keeping it just because it's a different Alice pack now. Different than all my others. I don't have surface mount buckles on any of my Alice packs, so who knows? The point being is, I guess this is part 4, I believe, of this project. I figured I'd document the process. So yeah, guys, I'm looking at 3 pouches, in terms of 3 strips of webbing being sewn there, 2 more, and then here's where the real cost comes into play. I believe that whole the 3 pouches plus the 2 main straps is probably going to cost me around 10 euros. Squeeze that in maybe for 12, patching that up. Now, I'm hoping that the other mods that I'm planning don't cost me a bucket load. But what I plan to do is have another strip of webbing sewn, just like I do on my standard Alice packs, and then have the female end of the buckle sewn here so that it will join nicely with the straps that I plan to have sewn from up top. Last mod would probably be a handle, and again, these are the only 2 mods that I need to see just how much this whole project will end up costing me. I'm hoping definitely, under 20, but it might be around 20. So we'll see. And at that point, the price, the pack is going to have to go up to the point where I don't think anyone's going to buy it. So I might as well keep it. We'll see. I don't know. But I figured I'd show you guys that, yeah, surface mount buckles went through all right. And yeah, the little bit of the strip of fabric that was in between these 2 studs didn't rip, didn't melt an excessive amount of fabric. It melted right through in all cases. I just marked it with a Sharpie, and it was thin enough, so just melted really nicely. And I was able to attach the surface mount buckles. But the surface mount buckles, placing them as accurately as possible, that was a bit annoying. I mean, I really had to, take into account where I unstitched the previous buttons and, really center it. And then there would be the other. This is the only hole that I got. I was being real careful, but just towards the end, I just used the massive seam ripper and just went scratch, and yeah, got a little hole. But other than that, I did a pretty good job on stitching without getting any other holes. But yeah, as you can see, guys, just placing them, in the middle and straight was a little harder than I expected, but it ended up working out pretty good. They seem all at the same height, and I didn't want to go over this lip of double fabric, because this is like double fabric, so I didn't know, because the buttons were sewn onto this layer, so I figured I'd go and do the same thing that the guy that used surface mount buckles on his Alice pack, that I linked his video in the previous video, he basically did them as well, maybe a slightly higher than what I did, but I just wanted to get enough length, for the strap, and so you can really secure that down, but I didn't want to overlap this section down here. But yeah, just, pressing the studs up against the fabric and then, sliding it around was a little bit, it required quite a bit of attention to it, quite a bit of attention to detail. And yeah, that was just the only thing that I think was a bit of a, I wouldn't say an issue, but if you get it wrong, that's why I don't mind experimenting with this pack at the end of the day. Because if I did get it wrong, and then I would have been fuming if it was a stock Alice and I planned this mod. But at this point, it turned out pretty good anyway, even on this pack. So I'm really happy with this. So all I can say, guys, is thanks for watching, and I'll keep you updated on what happens to this pack. So I'll see you in the next one.